The History of Cricket, Part 3. The greatest legends of cricket. Every sport has one player whose records seem impossible to break. In cricket, that name is Sir Donald Bradman. Born in Australia in 1908, Bradman grew up far from luxury. As a child, he practiced for hours by hitting a golf ball against a water tank with a cricket stump. That simple exercise sharpened his reflexes and timing to an extraordinary level. When he entered international cricket, bowlers quickly realized they were facing someone unlike anyone before. Bradman wasn't just consistent, he was relentless. His footwork was precise. His concentration was unmatched. His ability to score quickly while staying technically correct amazed teammates and opponents alike. By the time he retired, he had achieved something that still stands as one of the greatest records in all of sports, a test batting average of 99.94. To understand how extraordinary that is, most great test batters finish with averages between 45 and 60. Bradman's figure remains in a league of its own. He needed only 4 runs in his final innings to finish with an average of exactly 100. But he was dismissed for a duck. Even then, 99.94 became a number cricket fans around the world would never forget. Bradman proved that discipline, preparation, and mental strength could make a player almost unstoppable. If Bradman represented perfection, Sir Vivian Richards represented fearlessness. During the 1970s and 1980s, when the West Indies dominated world cricket, one man became the face of that dominance. Viv Richards walked to the crease without a helmet against some of the fastest bowlers the game had ever seen. Not because helmets didn't exist, but because he wanted bowlers to know he wasn't afraid. His confidence was legendary. He attacked from the very first ball. Every cover drive, every pull shot, and every hook carried a message. I'm in control. Richards wasn't just scoring runs, he was changing the psychology of the game. Captains began redesigning field placements just to slow him down. Bowlers tried bouncers, yorkers, slower balls, yet he often turned pressure into opportunity. Beyond his batting, Richards became a symbol of pride for the Caribbean. He inspired generations of young cricketers to believe they could stand toe-to-toe with the world's best. For many fans, Viv Richards wasn't simply a great batter, he was cricket's first true superstar. Bradman gave cricket perfection. Viv Richards gave cricket fearlessness. But then came a young boy from Mumbai, teenager whose dream would one day inspire more than 1 billion people. His name, Sachin Tendulkar, and his story changed cricket forever. In 1989, a 16-year-old boy wearing India's jersey walked onto the field to face one of the fastest bowling attacks in the world. On the other side were fearsome Pakistani fast bowlers known for their pace and aggression. Many believed the young boy wouldn't survive, but what happened next surprised everyone. A bouncer struck him on the face. Blood started flowing. The physio rushed onto the field. The crowd fell silent. People expected him to walk back to the pavilion. Instead, the teenager wiped away the blood, adjusted his helmet, and quietly said, "Main Kelliga." That fearless teenager was Sachin Tendulkar. It wasn't just courage. It was the beginning of one of the greatest careers in cricket history. Over the next 24 years, Sachin transformed from a talented youngster into a global icon. His straight drive became a piece of cricketing art. His cover drive looked effortless against fast bowling, against spin, against pressure. Sachin always found a way whenever India needed hope. Millions of eyes turned toward one man. Stadiums erupted when he walked out to bat. Television ratings soared. Entire streets became empty whenever he was playing. People didn't simply watch cricket. They watched Sachin. He became the first player to score 100 international centuries. He crossed 30,000 international runs. He also became the first cricketer to score a double century in one-day internationals. But perhaps his greatest achievement wasn't a record. It was inspiration. Millions of children picked up a cricket bat because they wanted to become the next Sachin Tendulkar. In 2011, after years of heartbreak, India finally lifted the Cricket World Cup. As the team celebrated, they carried Sachin on their shoulders. Virat Kohli later said, "He carried the hopes of a nation for 21 years. It was time we carried him." That single image became one of the most emotional moments in cricket history. Sachin didn't just play cricket. He became the heartbeat of an entire generation. If Sachin represented consistency, Brian Lara represented brilliance. Born in Trinidad and Tobago, Lara possessed a batting style unlike anyone else. Every stroke looked artistic. Every innings felt like a masterpiece. When Lara was in form, even the world's best bowlers seemed ordinary. His timing, his balance, his footwork, everything looked effortless. But Lara loved doing something even more remarkable. Breaking records in 1994, he scored 375 runs in a single test innings. The cricket world stood in amazement. Years later, someone broke his record. Most players would have accepted defeat, not Brian Lara. In 2004, he returned with something unbelievable. An unbeaten 400 runs in a test innings, a record that still stands today. Think about it, 400 runs without getting out. It remains one of cricket's greatest batting achievements. Lara showed the world that greatness isn't about holding records forever. It's about having the courage to win them back. For years, fast bowlers were considered cricket's biggest weapons. Then came one man who changed everything, Shane Warne, born in Australia. Warne didn't rely on speed. He relied on magic. His leg spin deliveries confused even the world's greatest batters. Some balls turned sharply, others barely turned at all. No one knew what was coming next. Then came 1993 England versus Australia. The Ashes. Warne bowled a delivery to Mike Gatting that spun so dramatically it became famous around the world. It was later known as the ball of the century. Commentators couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Fans replayed the delivery for years. Young bowlers everywhere suddenly wanted to become leg spinners. Warne finished his career with more than 700 test wickets. But numbers tell only part of his story. His confidence, his tactical intelligence, and his ability to outthink batters made him one of cricket's greatest entertainers. He proved that bowling could be every bit as exciting as batting. Bradman gave cricket perfection. Viv Richards gave it fearlessness. Sachin gave it hope. Brian Lara gave it elegance. Shane Warne gave it magic. But cricket's story wasn't over. The next generation would bring extraordinary captains, unstoppable all-rounders, record-breaking bowlers, and modern icons who would inspire millions more. And that's where our journey continues. Every successful team has great players, but only a few teams are fortunate enough to have a truly great leader. For Australia, that leader was Ricky Ponting. When Ponting became captain, Australia was already a strong cricket team. But under his leadership, they became almost unstoppable. Opposing teams didn't just fear Australia's bowling. They feared Australia's confidence. And that confidence came from the man leading them. Ponting wasn't known for emotional speeches or dramatic celebrations. He led through performance. Whenever Australia faced pressure, Ponting answered with the bat. His trademark pull shot became one of cricket's most iconic strokes. Fast bowlers tried everything, short balls, bouncers, aggressive fields, but Ponting turned many of them into boundaries. His greatest achievement came on cricket's biggest stage, the ICC Cricket World Cup. Under his captaincy, Australia dominated world cricket, winning consecutive World Cups and setting standards that many teams still aspire to reach. Ponting proved that great captains don't simply lift trophies. They build winning cultures. If someone asked, "What does the perfect cricketer look like?" many experts would answer with one name, Jacques Kallis. He wasn't always the loudest player on the field. He rarely celebrated dramatically. But when the match demanded responsibility, Kallis quietly delivered. He scored thousands of runs. He took hundreds of wickets. He caught impossible catches, batting, bowling, fielding. There seemed to be nothing he couldn't do. While flashy players often grabbed headlines, Kallis earned respect through consistency. Year after year, series after series, he performed with remarkable reliability. That's why many cricket experts still consider him the greatest all-rounder of the modern era, because greatness isn't always about making noise. Sometimes it's about delivering when your team needs you most. Some bowlers rely on swing, but Machaya Muralitharan relied on something almost impossible to predict: spin, extraordinary spin. Representing Sri Lanka, Muralitharan developed a unique bowling action and incredible wrist control that allowed him to turn the ball in ways batters had rarely seen before. Even world-class players often struggled to read his deliveries. One ball would drift away, the next would spin sharply back. The following delivery might barely turn at all. His variations kept batters guessing every single over the years. He collected wicket after wicket, until he achieved something extraordinary: 800 test wickets. No bowler in test cricket history has taken more. His journey wasn't always easy. He faced criticism and controversy during parts of his career. But he continued working, improving, and proving himself on the field. His story reminds us that true legends are remembered not only for records, but for their resilience. Some captains lead with aggression, some lead with emotion. MS Dhoni led with calmness. No matter how intense the situation became, his expression rarely changed. Whether India needed 6 runs from the final over or 1 wicket to win, Dhoni remained composed. That calmness spread through the entire team. His decisions often surprised everyone. Sometimes he promoted himself up the batting order. Sometimes he trusted inexperienced bowlers in crucial moments. Many questioned his choices until they worked. Then came one unforgettable night, April 2011 ICC Cricket World Cup Final. India needed a captain's innings. Dhoni walked in ahead of more experienced batters. The pressure was enormous. The entire nation watched. Then he struck one of cricket's most famous shots, a towering 6 over long on. As the ball disappeared into the crowd, millions erupted. Celebration. India had become world champions. That iconic image of Dhoni holding his finishing pose remains one of cricket's greatest moments. But Dhoni's legacy extends beyond trophies. He inspired countless young players. He believed in backing talent. He proved that calm thinking could overcome even the greatest pressure. That is why fans around the world still call him Captain. Cool Bradman gave cricket perfection. Viv Richards gave it fearlessness. Sachin gave it hope. Lara gave it elegance. Warne gave it magic. Ponting gave it dominance. Callies gave it balance. Muralitharan gave it mystery. Dhoni gave it belief. Yet the story of cricket's greatest legends still isn't complete. Because one modern-day superstar would redefine consistency, fitness, passion, and chasing impossible targets. His name, Virat Kohli. And his journey marks the beginning of a new era in cricket.